Hello and welcome to our session. My name is Jody Kerchner.
And I'm Malcolm Brooks.
Together today, we're going to take a look at ways that we can facilitate student composition in our rehearsal ensembles and in our general music classes, upper elementary school, middle school, and high school. Documentary songwriting is a strategy for composing songs that was founded and researched by Malcolm Brooks based on his dissertation work. And this is a method for taking people's personal narratives, their storied lives, and setting them to song. But this is not just a solo activity. Indeed, this is a collaborative community building experience in which the participants are engaged in empathetic listening, that is, listening to each other's stories deeply, intently, and compassionately, but also then negotiating together as a group ways to set this story, to transform this story into a song. This also pulls on personal and group creativity. And it's a way of celebrating the diversity of human experiences. In a day where we're talking lots about diversity and inclusion, documentary songwriters and songwriting involves people who maybe have a variety of musical skills and training and notation reading abilities, because none of that really matters. What really matters is a person telling their individual story. It levels the playing field, giving access to authentic voices during the song and storytelling process. We invite you to be vulnerable. I don't know about you, but certainly my teacher education training did not include how to compose, let alone how to teach composing and how to experience composing. Sometimes this is a scary thing to do as teachers, to facilitate something that we ourselves have not experienced. So I'm going to invite you to join me in being vulnerable, being open. That this vulnerable openness leads us to discovering our most creative selves. And so after Malcolm leads me through the documentary songwriting process, we'll back up at the very end and talk about the actual strategies involved in the pedagogy. So here we go.
So, as long as we have two people, we're good to go. We need someone to tell a story, and we need someone to listen, and together they're going to fashion a song following the steps. You can see the steps on the screen. Draw forth a story is number one. Distill into a free verse poem. Shape into lyrics. That's a bit of an eye test because it's in yellow. It's not easy to see. Design a melody. Edit the remaining verses. And then we may not have time to get to choosing the chords or making a live recording, but we'll do the best we can in this short amount of time. It will be just a miniature song. Normally a session would run an hour and a half, but we don't have that time today. Jody, the story, whatever you choose, could it be something that involves an emotion, because this is music, and something that you did, something that happened to you, something you reacted to, perhaps some risk, where you have some feelings, some fears, some desires, and an overall impression of what an experience was like. Maybe it even changed you.
Okay.
And I'll type whatever you say as best I can. Don't, don't talk too fast.
Okay. I'm thinking about this, and I'd like to share with you and others watching our session. I'd like to share with you a story of my grandfather. Um, he and I would sing quite a lot together throughout the earlier years in my life. And the story I'd like to tell really occurs in a hospital on the last days of his life. My grandfather was in the hospital for an end of life serious lung issues. And he was frustrated by the lung exercises, breathing exercises that he was prescribed by the doctors. And so I thought, oh, well, maybe instead of those exercises, maybe we could sing instead. That would give a chance for my grandfather to exercise his lungs I guess deep in my heart, I really wanted just to sing with my grandfather because I knew we probably wouldn't have that many more times to do that. And so we sang songs. Most of them were hymns, his favorite hymns that we knew by heart, uh, that we would sing in church and Sunday school week after week. Before we knew it, we were having a good time, and we were singing harmony, and not a word was missed. And before we knew it, people were at the entryway of the hospital door, and they were listening. And uh, we stopped to invite them to join us to sing with us. Some of the people did know some of the words, some didn't. They were just kind of listening. We had an automatic audience. And we kept singing. And it was a profound emotional connection, not only with my grandfather, certainly, but also with the people that we didn't know who were listening to what we were doing. Um, it was actually the last time I ever saw my grandfather in the hospital. So the experience took me back to thinking about where music was our entire bodies. It was our bodies. My grandfather had to use every single last breath he had in his body to sing. And for me, to see him at the end of his life be a creative human being was so powerful to me to witness. Because oftentimes we think about, end of life as being sad, or and certainly it was sad that this was the end of his life, but on his face was this expression of joy and peace and just being alive.
Oh, that was just fantastic. That was
Thank you.
great. All right. I'd like to ask you now to pick some phrases.
Hmm.
We are on step 2, where we're going to draw forth a free verse poem. And to do that, we're going to distill what we have, this story, into selected phrases that show context, that show emotion, that provide an image, that move the story forward. And whatever phrases you choose, I will highlight with a bright color of some sort.
Maybe orange?
Orange would be just perfect.
Okay. Okay. In the hospital on the last days of his life. Oh, I thought maybe Chris thing instead. Deep in my heart, I guess I just wanted to sing with my grandfather. Having a good time. People were at the door listening. It was a profound emotional connection. It was the last time I saw my grandfather alive. Oops. might have said something about it was powerful for me to witness that he was still a creative being.
Sure it is. There it is, right there.
Perfect. It was certainly sad, yet on his face was an expression. Oh, sorry. Yet on his face was an expression of joy and peace and being alive. I'm not quite sure what to do with every last breath he had in his body to sing. I mean, it's important, but I don't know quite if I want that or not.
We can always take it out later.
Okay.
I think he was frustrated by the lung exercises given by the doctors.
Oh, right.
Because you're there and you have an alternative idea.
I'm going to relieve I hope to relieve through singing the frustration. Yeah. I thought maybe we could sing instead. Yeah.
And singing harmony, not a word was missed. Just beautiful.
We invited others to sing with us, or invited them to sing with us.
I think it was a them. Okay, looks great. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did before, insert a horizontal line and paste what's above, and then delete. Actually, it occurs to me that we have not mentioned your grandfather. He has not been highlighted anywhere. The poor fellow.
He's the main character, in a way. Or he's at least a character, an important character. He's the one in the hospital, so yeah.
Maybe we just take that sentence. And we don't need in the hospital the last days of his life.
True. That does come back later.
Yeah.
Different way.
All right, so, anything that's not highlighted is now going away. Still have quite a bit of text. I'm not sure.
We do, yeah.
We may do the same thing again to trim it down further. If this were going to be a longer song, we could work with this, but I think we're going to have to further distill. Next step is we're going to actually make it into a free-verse poem by asking you to tell me when to press the return key so that I break up these long sentences into singable phrases.
Okay. My grandfather...
Like you might say...
Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. You got it. Go.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess I just wanted to sing with my grandfather. That maybe need to be split up. I'm not sure. Having a good time singing harmony. Return. Not a word was missed. People were at the door listening. Return. We invited them to sing with us. Return. It was the last time I saw my grandfather alive. Return. He was still a creative being. Return. My grandfather had to use every last breath. Every last breath he had in his body to sing. After sing, a return. Yeah, I could see a return where you put it too. Yet on his face was an expression, comma, or return of joy and peace. You know, I want to go back to the deep in my heart,
Yes?
return. Or deep in my heart, I guess, return. I just wanted to sing with my grandfather. Yeah, let's try that anyway.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, this looks pretty promising already. Can you imagine now a song has verses,
Hmm.
and we can think of them as sort of episodes in a story. And if we were going to break this up into 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, where would I press the return key to separate it out so there's a space between the episodes?
Maybe after grandfather, singing where's people. Maybe after we invited them to sing with us. The last time I saw my grandfather alive, he was still great, and my grandfather used to sing at his face. Mm. Maybe something like that.
I think this is good. Okay, now just quickly run through it and see if it feels right to you as a poem.
I thought maybe we could sing deep in my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing with my grandfather, having a good time, singing harmony, not a word was missed. Door listening, we invited them to sing with us. It was the last time I saw my grandfather. He was still a great. Yeah, it's interesting. Um, there's story, but then I see something that, yet on his face was an expression of joy, peace, and being alive. That to me is really kind of key throughout this song. So I'm not sure it belongs at that very end only. But yes, I think the structure in terms of chunks, large chunks, works as is.
Let's do what you were just about to suggest, which is we're going to make a refrain.
Ah,
As you know, songs often have choruses. Some choruses are standalone choruses, like Jingle Bells. It's completely separate from Dashing Through the Snow. Some songs have choruses so short they're just one-word refrains, like Walking in a Winter Wonderland. And that can't stand there by itself. It's the end of a verse. And some songs merely have the first line of the song be the title and never occur again. Amazing Grace, Joy to the World kind of songs. Let's assume that this is one which has a short refrain, 1 or 2 lines. And when we look at this, we're looking for candidates. What lines might we be able to sing repeatedly at the end of each of these episodes?
if I select the lines, does that mean that we have to keep the same words that are in the lines as now, or can we tighten them up ultimately?
I suspect there's a few tightenings up. We don't need so many grandfathers and things like that.
Okay, great. Then I think candidate for me is yet on his face was an expression of joy and peace and being alive.
All right, so we'll put that up top as the first refrain candidate.
I hope I'm not citing Stephen Sondheim of being alive. Yikes.
He wasn't the first to use it, that's for sure.
Are we looking for others that could be part of
Yes, we
that?
are. Is there anything else?
Hmm.
Okay, let's go with that. There could be other candidates, but in the interest of time,
Okay.
We're going to test out this refrain.
Okay. So that's going to go at the bottom of each of those big chunks.
Yes, for this particular song, it looks as if a refrain would go on the bottom. There are other songs, such as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, actually, I mean Frosty the Snowman, where every verse opens with that refrain.
Got it.
I'm not sure we need the yet. Let's do some tidying up here now.
Okay.
I'm going to copy it over one more time. All right, so let's bring the writers in. It's okay. Then tell what would the writers like to do here to make this be, as you say, tightened up?
On his face was joy, peace, and being alive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think my grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing deep in my heart.
I just wanted to sing.
I just wanted to sing with him. How you feel about that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not sure where to split it up.
Yeah, right.
Could be there, deep in my heart. I just wanted to sing with him, or deep in my heart, just wanted.
I could get rid of the just. That just seems like a word we don't necessarily need.
Yeah, right. And then, as you pointed out, I think rather than my grandfather had to use every breath, it could just be he had to use.
Last time I saw him alive. I saw him alive. So getting rid of the mic.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, you know how you made it be joy, peace, and being alive? Part of
Yeah.
me wants it to be joy and peace and being alive, joy and peace and being alive. But I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I
As I
get
think
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It flows a little better with the and in there, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I was so excited that we had the commas placed at the right place.
So much for that. All right, so now let's move on to designing the melody. If you look back up here, we've shaped it into sort of lyrics, and now we're going to design a melody for one verse and a refrain. We have three verses to work with, but we don't have time to do them all today. So I'm going to ask you to pick one of these that we're going to actually try to sing a melody to. Which one would you like?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let's go for the first one.
Okay.
Let's go for the first one.
All right. Whatever we get for the first one, if we had more time, we would take that structure and use it in the second verse and in the third verse.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
When we look at this, if we imagine that there's sort of three kind of arcs to songs, and this is a simplification, but imagine there's some songs that just start high and then move down low, like somewhere over, and finally gets down to why can't I? And some songs have the high part in the middle, like row, row, your boat gently down the stream, merrily. That's where our high part is. And some of them have at the end, like at the old ball game.
Mm.
If we look at this first verse here, do you have a sense where the high point might be?
I think the high point is the being alive. I mean, I so want to go to that point. To me, that's the key, or a key point that I took away from this experience.
Okay. So we can imagine now that the purpose of these lines is to get us to that point.
Okay.
And I'm now going to ask you, and let's see, how am I going to record this on Zoom? Excuse me. I'm going to reach for my phone and see if I can make a voice memo of you singing. This will be exciting. And so I'm going to ask you to sing simply, my grandfather was in the hospital. That far, maybe 2 lines. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Unless you feel as if you could go through the whole thing.
I don't.
She's so honest.
This is where the vulnerability comes in. So, teacher, heal thyself. Seriously,
Okay.
this is
Well,
the moment.
I will guide you a little bit.
Okay.
We know that alive is going to be the most important point.
Right. And that's the high climax that
Right.
I was feeling.
And we also know that this is that if the melody is too complicated, people aren't going to be able to follow what's happening. So your melody may be as simple as, we start this one here, and the second line is here, the third line is here, the fourth line is here, then we go down, fifth line, sixth line, seventh line, eighth line. It could be just steps like that.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you not to be too brilliant.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him. On his face was joy and peace and being alive. I don't remember anything that I just sang. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him. On his face was joy and peace and being alive.
All right. We have more ideas than we need already. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask you, my grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing is one melody. Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him is a different melody.
It is. Yep.
And I'm going to ask you to pick which one you want to use. We're going to use one or the other. They both will work, but you're going to pick one of them. Okay. And whatever one you pick, we're going to sing that same melody again on the other lines.
Could I hear the beginning again?
Sure.
2020. Thank you. Joy and peace and being alive.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Nice. I'm not convinced about the first line. Could I hear the second or the third line, please? Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him. I like the flow of that. I actually like dee da da da. I wanted to sing with him.
That was deep in my heart.
I wanted to sing with him.
I wanted to sing with him. Or kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
I know. I didn't mean to suggest. I was just trying to follow.
Yeah.
Sing it again. Just sing that line again to me, please.
Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him.
Beautiful. All right. So now, how are you going to make my grandfather was in the hospital? I thought maybe we could sing match that melody.
I hear the second line. I thought maybe we could sing, or something like that, but
Yeah,
I can't get the first line in it.
Right. So really, that was like this.
Deep in my heart, I wanted to sing with him.
That's. I thought maybe
we could sing.
Great. Now, deep in my heart. That's what we have.
Yep. Wanted to sing with him. My grandfather was
We could definitely go with my grandfather. My grandfather was that far. Okay, right?
My grandfather was. Then I have to do something different.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe we could sing. My grandfather was in the hospital. And then there's too big of a jump down. It doesn't flow from there into the next part.
All right. So one way is to make something simple about in the hospital. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe, like that.
Oh.
So that it just settles us down before the leap. And that would mean, if we sang that deep in my heart would need a couple extra lines there, a couple extra words, I mean. Do you see what I mean?
I think so.
So that the melody beat would be
da 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 da.
Right.
I wanted to sing with him.
Exactly.
So deep in my heart, I knew. Deep in my heart, I knew.
It could be, or it could be something before I deep in my heart too. We can always go down to our original story and see what she said. She said, deep in my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing with my grandfather. So,
I guess.
Deep in my heart,
I guess. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. No, that's not right. I thought that maybe we could sing. I'm changing the original now. I mean, from what we had. Deep in my heart, I just wanted to sing with him. Deep in my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing with him.
That was nice. All right, can you sing the first 4 lines now?
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe that we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess, I just wanted to sing with him.
All right, we're good. I guess it's a little shorter than in the hospital, but let's not worry about that for a moment.
Okay.
Can you now give me some groove? We have a melody, but we don't have a pulse to it. And I'm a rhythmic person, and I like to feel the pulse. So you're going to sing it and tap or show me where the pulse is.
Okay. How about this? My grandfather was. Okay. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe that we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess, I just wanted to sing with him.
Nice job. Do it again, please. And could you actually make a tapping sound so I could hear that?
Sure. Is this loud enough?
Yeah, I'm going to record it too.
Okay.
January 11th, 2021. Further evolution of the grandfather melody.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe that we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess, I just wanted to sing with him.
Great.
I'm just noticing the time. We have about 5-6 minutes left.
Oh, we're in good shape. Excellent. Let me just think about something here. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing with him.
There's a lot off the beat, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it more on the beat.
1,
2, 3, 4, 1, 2. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. Deep in my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing with him. Now, I think Zoom affects where we hear time. And so it may not be as even to you as it is to me, but we'll just go with it.
My grandfather
was as a downbeat. My grandfather was.
My grandfather was in the hospital.
Right. And can you make there be a pause? A second while I get these people.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought that maybe that we could sing. Deep in my heart, I just wanted to sing with him.
Deep in
my heart. That way we can get rid of those words, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Because of hospital, heart, I guess.
Okay.
Deep in my heart. Oops.
Deep in my heart. Sorry. In my
All
heart.
right. In my heart, I guess. I just wanted to sing
with him.
Okay. So now I'm going to record you, and you're going to sing all that, and not stop, and you're going to sing on his face was joy and peace and love. And it doesn't have to be anything big because the words are so big.
Okay.
And so we want to have it be gentle and loving, but it doesn't have to be theatrical.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I
January
gotta.
11th, 2021, my grandfather was in the hospital, run through with a refrain at the end.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought that maybe we could sing. In my heart, deep in my heart, I just wanted to sing with him. On his face was joy and peace and being alive.
On his face. That was lovely how you did that.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just listen back.
January 11th, 2021, my grandfather was in the hospital, run through with a refrain at the end.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought that maybe we could sing. In my heart, deep in my heart, I just wanted to sing with him. On his face was joy and peace and being alive. I like it.
I like it a lot. Now, the melody you have for on his face. Dare to repeat it for it was joy and peace.
On his face was joy and peace and being alive.
Exactly. Another minute left. Can you see my guitar?
Yes, I can.
All right, so I'm just going to play the very simplest of chords here.
Okay.
Looks as if we're pretty close to G major.
Okay.
And I'm going to restrict myself doing nothing fancy. I'm only allowed to use a G chord and a C chord and a D chord. And so very quickly, I'm going to play, and then you're going to tell me when you think I should change. My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing. In my heart, deep in my heart, I just wanted to sing him on his face.
Ah, you changed it.
Right, I'm sorry. On his
That's okay, though.
joy and peace and being alive.
Okay, so I thought maybe we could sing. I just wanted to sing and on his face.
Okay.
With joy and peace and being. There's a chord change too.
My grandfather was in the hospital. I thought maybe we could sing like that, or I thought maybe we.
That's the one.
I'm sorry, that's the one. Okay. Then on his face was joy and peace, or on his face was joy and peace.
And being alive.
Being alive. On his face was joy and peace. And being, sorry.
And being, I think staying on the same chord, on his face was joy, on his face was joy and peace, and then being 5, alive 1.
On his face was joy and peace and being alive.
Alive.
All right. Okay,
I like it. Thank you for adding those chords.
Sure, I think it's a lovely song, and I think we have to stop now, but you could see how we could develop that into other verses, and they would end with an awe on his face, with joy and peace and alive. It'd be lovely.
Terrific. One of the things that I've noticed, and I'd like to pull back the lens now after being a little bit of a guinea pig. Thank you, Malcolm, for your skilled guidance in the songwriting process. It's, documentary songwriting is a tried and true method. It's been used in the Me Too movement. It's been used with refugees, in people in regions of conflict, people struggling with identity, people who are dealing with addiction in recovery centers. And I think that this is a powerful way to get kids, students of all ages, involved in storytelling, first of all, and having people validate each other's stories, certainly. But also as a way of saying that everybody can sing a song. And it's really up to the teacher to dispel the myth of, oh, this is going to be silly, or, oh, I know we don't usually sing in class, especially in dealing with teenagers. But I think that those words merely sabotage and act as a foil. I think everybody can sing. Everybody wants to sing. Students sing all the time, maybe not in our classrooms, but certainly outside. And I think through validating and giving them something to sing that's of importance to them, that is of importance to themselves, it brings forth their wanting to sing about their own story. And so I think the responsibility is on the teacher to say, yes, this is a safe environment. Every story counts. Every story is validated. Everybody comes to this process as a creative being. And oftentimes we shut the door on young students, particularly who might not be in our ensembles, that just because they haven't taken lessons or they're not in our ensembles, that they're not the creative sorts. When indeed I would suggest that people who are in our general music classes are equally creative, certainly. They just haven't had the opportunity to show us their creativity. So I hope that in this demonstration of the song process, this gives a mere flavor for what the songwriting process could be for the ensembles and the general music classes. For more information about documentary songwriting, certainly you can visit DocSong, DocSong.org, and you can see many examples of songs that have been written. So Malcolm, do you have any final words for us in this session?
Well, I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank people who've watched and hung with us through this, because, of course, there are bumps. It's a creative process, and that's the nature of it. But I do feel that it's been a wonderful experience, and I'm very grateful to have been here today.
Thank you so much. And thanks, everybody. We look forward to your attending our panel sessions so that we can address your questions as well. Thanks.